Yes. Greetings, and welcome to another mod guide. I wanted to kind of introduce a concept to people. Wanted to talk about something. Now, what I have in front of me is an automation setup. This is something you're probably going to be seeing a lot through a lot of the guys that actually play on the VC4 server. We actually have this season skyblock components, which means cobble generators are very important. Now, this is a very simple cobble gen setup. If you look up here, there's basically the water is going, it's kind of going over and down, but it is aiming for this little pit right here, which is actually on the side of a hopper. You can see it right there. That's the hopper. Now on this side, we just have a lava block that is going straight down one block, and then it's flowing over here. As soon as it flows over to the water, it becomes cobble, and this is a block breaker from Random Things. There are tons of other ones you can use. But a block breaker from Random Things kills it. Now, the reason I have this fully enclosed is so that we do not get pop out, because you will get these little cobblestones skipping out all different directions. So right now, it either is going to go up or it's going to go back against that block right there, that quartz block, and it just gets bounced right back down into the hopper and redirected into this wonderful basic drawer with some storage upgrades. As you can see right now, we've actually got about 8,500 cobblestone in there. Now, that is getting piped out through here to this thing, which is a crusher. I'm actually going to do this, which means suddenly this is going to kick to life and start making noise. Why am I using the crusher instead of a series of hammerers? Well, this is one step. If you hammer cobblestone, it goes to gravel, then it goes to sand. What I want is basic resources, so I want straight to sand and then dust. So this goes cobble straight to sand. All these need to be flipped, actually. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip this, and the sand will start going over here. And it starts getting hammered by this auto hammerer from Excompressum. And this makes dust, which then gets exported out to a sieve. This is automatically sieving dust. Don't know if it's going to, okay, we got some osmium ore, dust, powdered osmium ore, and then we actually have some bone meal. Up at the top, you will see I have an item hopper that is dropping iron mesh in there. So that means that once this mesh wears out, we don't have to worry about it. Oh, we're getting more stuff. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to flip this lever, and stuff's going to get pumped out. All this is powered by this big array of giant solar panels I have back there. It hits here. All this stuff gets put in here, and then there's a loop. Basically, the dust is actually going here as a higher priority. I've got a priority of 10. So all of this stuff, these are things that can be made into blocks. It gets put into here, which is an auto compressor. All this does is try to do either a 2x2 or a 3x3 grid of something to make it into a block form, whichever one is valid. It makes the blocks and it gets piped out right here into this. So I've got iron ore dust blocks. I've got bone blocks. I've got osmium ore dust blocks. I've got glowstone, gold ore dust, redstone blocks. Of course, we have gunpowder, which cannot be blocked, I don't think. We have blaze powder, which cannot be blocked. So, but everything else is getting put up into block form to make it easier for storage here in the actual chest. Now, this is not a revolutionary setup. It really isn't. This is pretty ordinary automation using one of my standard favorite mods, Ender.io. And I really do love it. Once I get, let's say I've gotten, let's not use one of those. Let's get some of these real quick. I've got some iron ore dust, right? I've got a standard, actually that is active. I've got a pretty standard setup here for the Tinker Smeltery, right? I have an input source of lava coming in from somewhere else, and it is piping under here and inputting lava into this actual setup. So what we have is a smeltery that is being automatically filled full of lava. I have this. I just put my dust blocks in there. They should get automatically deposited in here. Those will get melted, and they will get smelted and turned into, actually, I need an ingot. Cast, forgot about that. So now, as things get melted down here, this will turn into liquid iron, and we We could get more if we want to. Let's get the other 5 while more shows up. I just put stuff in here as I wanted to get melted. And we're going to slowly actually get some. Probably should have gone with copper because copper melts. Tell you what, hang on a sec. Yeah. Let's go get copper or tin. I know I have tin. Perfect. I think tin and copper have a lower melting point. Yep. Here you go. You'll see. This turns to liquid real quick. 7 ingots. These are going to start getting poured out. And as they get poured out, there's a hopper beneath this that pulls it out, puts it in. This is all very ordinary stuff. It's very, very simple. It's just a basic production line using some item conduits. Simple little design here for lava and water to make a cobble gen. And this thing right here requires no power. It just takes a redstone signal to turn it off. That's it. There's an equivalent in extra utilities that does the same thing. Extra utils do. There is a block of that in actually additions that does the same thing. So now we have some tin. Of course, we don't have enough. If I wanted to, I could put it in here. Put that in. I'm not sure why. That will not take mechanism tin. We'll have to see, though. Let's see. Copper. I think copper will do nicely. That's another thing. And basically, I have an auto compressor. So if I want to, I can get ingots, put stacks of ingots in here. It will compress it into blocks. And there is a hopper that is feeding back into this. So I can fire and forget as much as I want to. It's very, very nice. By the way, here's a dumb trick. If you get food and you right-click the autosieve, woo, it speeds up. Look at that turbo speed. Isn't that amazing? I didn't know about this until literally a few days ago. I think it was actually this past weekend. Somebody pointed it out to me. I didn't know it was a thing. But yeah, it's a wonderful setup. This is not the objective of the video, though. This is the base point. This is the comparison. This is what the video is about. This is an actual, fully automated production line. What's with the particles? I'll tell you what the particles. The particles are part of the magic, part of the actual mystique as to what's going on here. Now, this is the same set of machines. You have a crusher that is automatically receiving cobble and it's turning it into sand. That sand is automatically getting pulled over to this auto hammer and making dust. The dust is getting pulled over here. This thing is actually full. Let's speed that up with a little bit of food. The greater the saturation and hunger refill on the food, the faster the speed boost and the longer it lasts. It's awesome. And you'll see this thing is powering through. There were 11 backup dusts over here. Now suddenly it's catching up pretty quick. I think. Maybe it was behind on the curve the whole time. I don't know. We'll see. But all that stuff is getting automatically compressed into blocks. This is automatically compressing, and all the magic is going here. Now you'll also see we automatically have those ingots getting turned somehow. Those dust blocks getting turned into ingots. Iron ingots, copper ingots, tin ingots. We have osmium ingots. There's stone that's being compressed, being generated from this stuff in the process. Gold. There's iron dust that's being made. I think we're backed up. Anyway, this is an entirely automated system. How did I do it? Well, that's what we're going to go in on. Yes, this is a giant cube. This is my workspace, basically. And this is the madness. This is where it all begins. Okay, first of all, I have power coming in from an external source, right? This is my power buffer. These are phantom faces. This is a phantom energy face from Actually Additions. I actually use a thing called, let me get phantom. Right there. This is a phantom connector. You go to a block, you shift right click and it will say connection stored. Then you come down here and shift right click and it will connect it. Range 16. And this is only 4 blocks away. I could put a booster on this and increase the range if I wanted to. But basically the base range is 16 blocks, which is about the same as some of the other stuff like the lasers, the item laser relay in Actual Additions. So this is connected to the block above it. You can see that I actually lined them up right there. And like this right here is the sieve. That's the energy the phantom face for energy. I'm going to reboost that. Yeah, see? This is the phantom energy face for the sieve. This connected block is auto sieve at, and it gives coordinates, that is 4 blocks away. This connection is fine and working. So these are receiving the energy, and they are actually transmitting it wirelessly to the master block they're connected to. Now here's the awesome part. I also have those blocks connected to, see, this is a crusher, this is a basic drawer. This is a basic drawer. You notice the range, 32. I have a phantom booster just sitting on top. You stick it somewhere on the phantom face, and it will increase the range if I wanted to. I could do another one of these, I think, over here. Or maybe you can only do one on, I'm not sure. I've only messed with one because usually I don't have to go much farther than that. But this now has a range of 32 connected to the basic drawer. That basic drawer is that. I literally have that drawer sitting on top of a hopper, pulling cobblestone out and going into the crusher. So this crusher up here thinks that it has a hopper sitting on top of it and a basic drawer sitting on top of that. That is what it believes right now, and that is how it's working. Let's get some daytime going again so it's bright. And I think this is fascinating. Now, okay, this is the actual auto hammer. I have a whole bunch of stuff going into it. This is the large storage crate, that thing in the middle, right here. All these line up. So this is the crusher, the auto hammer, storage crate, the sieve, and this is the actual auto compressor. So here's what happens, right? We have the crusher. You put this thing on the bottom of it that's called an ESD. The ESD is basically an inbound, outbound. This is how you pull items out of inventory and put them into another inventory with actually additions. It's really simple. What direction from the ESD, what direction are you pulling out of? What's inbound to the ESD? Inbound is up. That's this block right here, is the phantom face. It's up, and it's reading only 3 slots on that actual block, and that's correct. It's got 1 input slot and 2 output slots, 3 slots total. So this is the slot after the last slot in the connected inventory to pull at. What this means, if you are, for example, right 2 in the field to the left and 5 in this one, it will pull at slot 2 and 3 and 4, etc. So this will start pulling at, and I could do two and 3. I'm actually going to do 0 and 3 because I'm not sure what slots are numbered. I go with the defaults. But anyway, this has got an inbound. The outbound is down. This is an item laser relay. There's a simple version, if you notice. It says priority 0. Hold a compass to modify. I can hold a compass to either right-click or shift right-click and change the priority on this up or down. And it's a really simple system, and I really do love it. It uses something called a, where's the laser wrench, to shift right-click, store a location for one, and then shift right-click on another one to connect it. And basically, you can follow the beam. It's going from right here up to here, and this connects to an item interface. So basically, this is a kind of a faux, this is treating, because these two are connected by laser, this is treating like this is an interface. This block is actually connecting that block to this one. So this is a stand-in for that block because it's got an inventory. And this block, it's another ESD. It's grabbing from up, which is that, and it's pushing north, which is actually this way, into the auto hammer. So what this is doing, it's getting the sand out of the actual crusher. It bumps it over through the laser into here, and this ESD here grabs it from this block, and then it moves it over to the actual auto hammer. It pushes it this way. That is literally what it works like. And it's actually a lot simpler to set up. I set all the blocks up, I bind the lasers, then you look at the ESDs, and it will see how much space it has on which end. So the sand gets pushed into here. If you notice, I've got a hopper with spare hammers because it speeds up the auto hammer. Which reminds me, speaking of speed, zoom, there we go. Right click every once in a while just to give it a speed boost. So we have a hopper up here with auto hammers, automatically pushing replacement hammers into the auto hammerer. Now this is pulling out what gets hammered from sand into dust. It is getting pulled out via, you notice, inbound is up. So it's pulling inbound to it, pushing outbound through the laser, and this laser goes all the way over to here. Okay? Again, it's connecting to this point. This ESD grabs it. Inbound is up to it, and outbound is north again to the autosieve. So it's grabbing that dust, pushing it into the autosieve. Up here we have a hopper that's using iron mesh. And so I could automatically refill this with auto crafting or whatever if I wanted to, but I have a big back buffer of meshes and hammers and whatnot to keep this all going. And if I wanted to, I could put just a chest on top of that that had even more storage for iron meshes, and that might be a good thing. But this phantom face is actually behaving as if it's the autosieve, and this thinks it's pushing directly into the autosieve. It really doesn't see this. It actually sees the autosieve. So then this block is pulling out of the autosieve up everything that the autosieve gets as a result of sifting dust. It gets it and it pushes it down through this laser. This laser right here goes up to storage and it passes it into our large storage crate, right? But then certain things get pulled out of the large storage crate. If you look here, this is an advanced ESD. You can upgrade them and you can do filters, whitelist filter for inbound. I can do a blacklist filter. So anything that gets pulled in automatically gets sent through. You can filter some things to come in, but not get sent out. All sorts of weird things. If you notice, this thinks it has 351 slots of available space up in that actual chest, or 351 valid slots that it can pull from. That's actually not free space. That's the total number of slots in that device that it sees and it can try and pull from. So yeah, this is really cool. I really do love this because it's got advanced filtration. You can do respect metadata or ignore metadata. There's NBT controls or dictionary controls, and there's soft and hard or dictionary. The item being passed only has to contain one of the or dictionary tags of the item filter in the list. Or you can do hard or dictionary filtering, which means all of them have to match. And then there's mod mode. So you can put items in from a mod. Only mod items come through from that mod, which is cool because that means I could limit by mod, and there's very few things that you can do that with. Logistics pipes, Ender IO, you can do it with their mod filter, and that's about it. You used to be able to do it with Buildcraft, but Buildcraft doesn't exist for 110. So yeah, this is very, very cool. I really do like this. Mod mode is neat also. You see tons of stuff just flickering through here. As fast as can be, it pulls things in and out very, very quickly. That laser is pulling all of this stuff to the compressor. It gets passed down through here. You notice I have an actual advanced ESD over here. I don't know if this is a bug or if it's intentional. If you have an advanced ESD on one end, you cannot have a basic ESD on the other end. It has to be an advanced ESD on both ends. That's the only way I could get them to talk. No. So I just put this as blacklist, which means it's open. Everything is coming through. It pushes to the phantom face, which is bound to the auto compressor. And then everything is getting pulled out of the auto compressor and sent back to storage. Now, over here, we actually have, this is pulling out ore dust blocks. And these count as ore blocks, which means if we get one of these and send them over here, it gets received, put into the actual sag mill. The sag mill will grind them into normal dust and then pass them off to the alloy smelter and then fire them back. So yeah, it's very, very interesting. The entire process, this entire chain is done. I could have solid walls. I'll show you. Like if I wanted to. Actually, here's a better solution. Hang on a sec. I'm going to do... There are blocks blocking that entire laser path now, which means that if it was limiting, it wouldn't go from the crusher to the actual auto hammerer. But if you notice, it still is. See, disappears, comes over here. Everything still works, and it can go through solid walls. Let's speed that up some. And I really do love this system. It's a great and amazing system. This is just using, let's break those now. This is just using item laser relays, or laser item relays, the ESDs and advanced ESDs, item interfaces and phantom faces. This isn't even going into some of the even more advanced mechanics. Like there is a phantom liquid face, which means you can actually have a phantom face set up for a block that you can pump liquids into. If you wanted to, you could actually make a phantom face for these seared tanks and have them somewhere else and have lava pumping into those phantom faces, and it would automatically get wirelessly transmitted over the distance to here. These would think that they are getting filled up directly. It's a really cool system. So the final effect is that you can have builds like this. I'm actually going to get a muffler. Woohoo! Okay. Let's do that. Suddenly it's a lot quieter. So I think this is cool. The sparkles can be a little overloading at times, but I'm pretty sure you can turn those off client side. My big thing though is that this allows for clean, decorative builds of machines. You can have machines on display as if they were display pieces, as if they are something to behold. I can see these things animating, working, functioning, and everything. I can check on their progress at a given point in time. There's no messy pipes and nothing. And yet I am still getting my stockpile of stuff to here on a regular basis, which is awesome. So I have all of my supplies coming in, getting processed, automatically getting cooked. I don't have, let's do iron dust. And I'm going to leave silver dust for now. Technically, we're not supposed to have that. Let's go down here. So like right now, we are pulling things out with this, right? Osmium, tin, copper, gold. I'm going to pop that in there, which means now it is going to get pulled in and whitelisted, sent over here, right? And this is, actually, no, I did get this to work. I think. Let's find out. Hang on a sec. We're going to find out real quick. Okay, so that entire stack disappeared. It got shot over here. So you can have a normal ESD on the receiving end. Okay, good. I forgot. I did this late last night, and I was a little bit delirious because I wasn't getting some of it working. It's not quite as intuitive initially. You have to read through the book sometimes, and segments of the book. And big applause to Ellpeck for this mod. I really love some of the innovation in actual editions. But some of the pictures in the manual are different, and they went through a lot of hard work in the in-game manual. I really do think if you're using actual editions, please look at the in-game book. But some of the pictures are out of date in these older models, and it makes it a little bit more confusing instead of less confusing. So yeah. Anyway, this is actually processing, shunting things over to here as quick as it can. And once it hits here, it will start getting processed by this. So you're seeing that iron is getting ground up, but we're getting some tin dust and some cobblestone. It is using, let's see, here's the recipes button, right? It's using the normal, let's find an ore. Not diamond. We're looking for just a normal, ordinary, whoop. Nope. Sawdust. Well, you know, we can look at like, this is, yeah, here we go, iron. You notice iron ore, iron dust, etc., etc. All these count as an iron ore, which basically means you're getting all of the chances to get iron powder. You'll always get 2, but then you have a chance, 5%, of getting some tin. And, you know, 15% chance of getting some extra cobble. If you do gold, you have a chance to get copper. And if you do copper, you have a chance to get gold. So this is still netting me all of the actual chances. If I wanted to, I could do, let's do some flint. I could have something that was automatically creating flint and pumping it into this and keeping this stockpiled, which means we would automatically get that extra percentage chance that this gives. The main output is boosted by 120%, bonus output 125%, and power reduction 15%. So suddenly this is using less power as well. We have the the alloy smelter right there and the sag mill helping. So this entire process is kicking off. Now we've got iron ingots automatically being cooked and made. We've got copper ingots automatically being cooked and made, osmium ingots, tin. We could do the silver. We have gold. We have some gunpowder we're getting and everything else. The only thing that I could do to expand this even further is to set up more machines down here that don't do cobble into sand, but instead cobble to gravel, and then sift the gravel also. So I could get this entire setup and replicate it over here and have a gravel production line, but still link to that storage chest. So everything goes to this. This would be the master machine, the master storage, and I have this one chest that all my resources would go to. And above ground, you wouldn't see anything. It would just be this. But I could have all of this stuff behind closed walls, hidden away, and not visible to anybody from the outside. This could be in my front room, just going, quietly going, as if to be some kind of artistic display piece. And I really think this is one of the most interesting ways to show off what actually additions can do. This is just a teaser, just a starter. I'm going to go into more stuff later with the mod. We're going to go into little tutorials for specific builds and specific purposes. There is so much to actual additions that if I actually made if I sat down and made a tutorial for actual additions in mod guide form, it would probably be about 4 or 5 videos that were 20 to 30 minutes long. Will I do that? Maybe one day in the near future. I'm not sure, but for right now, I'm going to go through more practical builds, more everyday function kind of things, how-tos, and I'm hoping that you can see some possibilities in this. The next time I do this, I'm going to build the project. I'll probably have a demo version, and then we can go through and build a copy of the entire thing so you can see exactly how it gets set up step by step. But I'm really hoping you like some of the ideas in this, and just keep your brains working. I'll catch you later. Thanks for coming by. Bye-bye.